Harvey, you were mentoring students for a few years. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Okay.
It was really rewarding from the beginning.
Okay.
Both Zen and I actually, we started with this program, Think and Speak Up, a few years ago.
Okay.
And at first it started out as just building kids' confidence, helping them learn leadership skills, communication skills. It really started out with how to write a speech, how to deliver a speech.
Right.
And from there, I think it evolved to how to be a leader in the community, how to be a leader at school, how to really tap into that potential to be involved in more than just academics. And then just recently from that point, I think we sort of segued off into how to develop leadership starting at home, how that relationship with your family, with your parents, how that really evolves, how that translates into success in the real world at school or beyond or whatever. And so we've been starting to focus more on that now. From the whole speech writing thing, so it's been kind of a mix. It's been kind of a mix, an overall character development thing. I think, yeah.
Nice description, but we want to know the dirty story. Were you like Zen? Were you a difficult child?
I think so. I think most of us. Well, I think it's I had my own ideas growing up, and certainly my parents, they had their expectations and they had their hopes and aspirations, and at a certain point, I realized that we both wanted the same thing. It's just the route to get there was very different. I wanted to take one way, they wanted me to take another, and so that definitely presented some kind of struggle. And I think I was really fortunate because at some point we were able to reconcile the two, and we were able to really go on that one path. And just like Zen, my parents and I now, we have a fantastic relationship.
That's good.
And I really hope that I can help other families really find that bond. Really
because we always hear about from friends where they don't have a good relationship with their parents, and it could go on for years and years and years, and they never resolve it.
Right, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I saw something that Harvey wrote in a blog about, I think it was children in Paris, where you said that they were treated like adults. Could you?
Right. Yeah, it was. So I spent my last semester studying in Paris.
Okay.
And it was very.
That is France, right?
Paris, France, right?
Not
Paris, Texas. But no, it was different. It was really different because at a very young age, I'd be riding the metro or I'd be outside walking around, and children as young as 3 or 4 years old. I mean, not only do they dress very maturely, but the way I see them interacting with adults and their parents, it's not at all this sort of, they're not dragging their feet, they're not complaining, they're not whining. They're constantly just having a dialogue. And in the metro, I hear a mother, talking to her child and being like, oh, like, what did you think about that we saw earlier? That was really strange, right? And the child would respond and give his or her opinions and reflect on it.
Right.
And overall, I think, Parisian children at least just appeared so much more mature that they were able to really process thoughts and really think about the things they see and really analyze everything. Yeah. And I think it's because their environment, the adults around them, constantly are asking them to think about it and to see things and to perceive things.
Okay. So, parlez-vous français?
Un petit peu.
Oh, okay. That's it. That's the extent of my French. So let's talk about another point. In here it says allowing children to experience reality. It's something that you guys talk about. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So from what I've realized, I think as parents, I have a little brother also. He's 12 years old, so my relationship with him has kind of always been a mix of brother, friend, parent. And I can understand now that parents definitely want to shield their children from reality, especially for children like Zen and I who are the descendants of first-generation immigrants. I think America is a foreign land to them. It's strange, and they really just want to protect their kids from everything out there.
Right.
And so, while I think it's a good thing that they want to share their experiences, they don't want their kids to make the same mistakes that they did. But honestly, sometimes you just really need to let them go out and see the real world for how it is.
Yeah.
An example I have is this past summer. My little brother, he plays hockey, very involved in the hockey community. And his coach, Coach Mark, is a great friend of our family's. And we were at a hockey event at some venue, And we were all talking, me and my parents and Coach Mark. We were standing around in a circle, just chatting. And my little brother was in the circle too, but he was turned around. He was talking to his buddies. And Coach Mark realized that his shoelaces were untied. And this is a problem that he's always having. My mom's always reminding him, saying, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. And Coach Mark didn't say a thing. All he did was he simply just put his foot on that shoelace and just waited for him to budge and trip. And if you think about it, that's so much more of an effective lesson, right?
Yeah.
But then my mom saw it, and typical as she just, Stanley, tie your shoes. And of course he saw it, and he tied his shoes.
Yeah.
And next time he's probably going to do the exact same thing.
Right.
And I thought, that right there is such a huge difference in ideology and perception. Let the kid trip once. Let him experience the consequences.
It's not going to kill them,
right? Let him face the consequences of his actions. Let him see that what you do will have consequences. And that, honestly, I think is such a stronger lesson than constantly harping at your kid saying, do this, or else, do this, do that.
And you probably want to talk to them about things that maybe you don't want exactly for them to experience, right? I would think.
Yeah, right. And an example that that I was talking to my mom about this, and she was like, "Oh, so I should just let my kid drink and drive and see what that happens." No, but I think what we should do definitely is let your child be exposed to the consequences of it. It's obviously drinking and driving ends poorly. It's never a pretty picture, and I think a lot of parents even they don't want their kids to see really car wrecks and the ambulance and all that. But that's reality though, and I think it's important when a child is 15, 16, considering the whole driving thing. They need to see that. They need to see the reality, the consequences behind making poor decisions.
Get the message, yeah.
Or even, speaking to people who've experienced that kind of loss, who've been in that situation. It's tough, it's hard, and I think as parents we definitely want to shield their kids from these negative aspects of reality. But I think it really needs to happen, and it opens children's eyes really to the real world and the reality of things.
Yeah. And Harvey?
Yeah.
Would supporting the passions of the children?
Right. I think the critical issue here is communication.
Okay.
And at a very young age, when our parents really are the only people around us, we tell our parents everything and we talk to them about everything. And I think a lot of parents, their biggest fear is that day when their kids stop talking to them, when their kids stop communicating with them, right? And I think, a lot of times it's because maybe children, they stop feeling like their parents are interested in their lives or that they would understand their lives. Which is why I think it's so important at a very young age for parents to establish with their kids, I'm interested in you, I'm interested in what you're interested in. Yeah, so, no matter what it is, even if it's the most boring-ish, gardening, for if that doesn't interest you at all, or rocks, or air.
Just be part of it.
Just be part of it. Like my little brother, for example, plays hockey, right? Okay. And like we're in Dallas, Texas, not Alberta, Canada. Like we, it's not we don't play hockey here, but our whole family's gotten really into hockey, and now we spend evenings around the TV during a Stars game, and we're yelling at the TV, and and I think. And it's great that my little brother now, he comes home after every game and he's telling us everything about, did you see what happened? The rankings for this team, or, my friend on the hockey team did this and this and that. And he's 12, 13 right now, which is one of those really critical points in a kid's life when he can either really form that strong bond with his family or he slowly just starts drifting away. Right. And I think it's great for my parents who grew up, I think, with very little conception of sports or athletics, especially, professionally, to really encourage him in that,
and even get involved in it,
and like getting very involved, and then so that there just opens up a dialogue. And I know because of this, down the road, whenever my brother, when he starts dating girls or going to business ventures or whatever, he will probably be very open with our family about it, and
talk about problems, issues,
right, and that's so very critical. That opens up so many other pathways for parents to talk to their kids. And stuff like that. So encouragement and support, it's key.
And even perhaps going to the extent of understanding their friends too, right?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Harvey? I mean, where does it come in where the grandfather is actually punishing the little boy?
Yeah.
Uncle. Yeah. What do you think?
Discipline, I think, should be there to teach a lesson, not to not to harm somebody or make them feel less, make them feel smaller, or to scare them or something. It should exist to teach a lesson, to teach them the fact that actions have consequences. If
Right.
you do something, something bad will happen down the road. But
Right.
I think you can discipline somebody and still keep that level of respect there. If you disrespect, especially a child, they're very sensitive to these kind of things. They will close off to their parents. They will close off to the authority, and then once that door's shut, it's really hard to open it again. So, I mean, I've had, a lot of my friends, me personally, have had experiences where my parents have disciplined me in a way where I've actually come to realize the folly of my actions, but at the same time, I personally didn't feel belittled by it. I didn't feel like they were talking down to me by it. And I think that really is the most effective way. Well, even